Society members are just kind of boring. A lot of them are older. They're loyalists. They're yes men. That's all they do. They could be anyone, anywhere. The only way you know who they are is if they come to annual meeting and they have a badge that says they're a society member. Never had a bad experience with them either. Again, they're very unexcitable people, kind of boring. Just yes men. They handle whatever they say. They get a call from the governing body, go handle this. They go and they handle it. Done. Which is kind of crazy because the governing body claims that they have no dealings with the Watchtower Bible Tract Society. BS major. First of all, you oversee the appointment of the Watchtower Bible Tract Society. Come on. And then, on top of that, the annual meeting, every year, the annual meeting is for the Watchtower Bible Tract Society to meet with the governing body to discuss business of the organization. So why are they acting like they have nothing to do with them? Legal, jargon, technicalities, semantics, all that trash. That's why. So anyway, the branch committee. Now, the reason why we weren't, as Bethelites too, we weren't afraid of the governing body or anything like that, because we didn't really have to deal with the governing body too much. The branch committee is who oversaw the branch, and they could fire us. They could get rid of us. It was their decision whether or not we stayed or left. And in my time period, the branch committee of the United States was an actual separate committee. It used to be that there was no branch committee for the U.S., but we did get a branch committee before I came to Bethel. So those members of the branch committee, we had a lot more interaction with, and in that, like, the way they were structured, the branch committee was like your boss, your supervisor, the person who your overseers answer to, and we were more apprehensive to run into them than we were to run into, the governing body or anybody else for that matter, because they had, direct impact on our lives. Most of the branch committee oh, they were not fun people. I will say that. And they were the ones who were pretty much directing your life at Bethel, controlling your life at Bethel. We want them in this direction. I remember my overseers and other overseers from other departments, they were kind of going back and forth with the branch committee as to what we need him in our department. And they're like, no, we need him to stay where we're at. And they said, no, the branch committee has him in a specific direction. Once you're past your vetting process, the branch committee has you on a path, and they want you to be the next XYZ. And it's their word over anybody else's. They are going to say, this is how he's going to be used. And if the governing body wants you to be used a certain way, they'll talk to the branch committee and say, put him on this path. And that was where the majority of our stress in trying to prove ourselves would come from. The branch committee said, we want them to do this. Go and make them do this to our overseers. And overseers would come to us and say, the branch committee would like us to do this. And so that's what we would do. And so, yeah, a few specific members that I did not like at all. But again, I will say that any interaction that I had personally with the branch committee was not necessarily negative, but also not necessarily positive. And yeah, you tightened up when you saw them coming, because they didn't have much of a personable interaction, I would say, too much. A lot of them were robots. They had been to Bethel for years and years and years. Almost all of them were not anointed. And, they didn't want to hear your mouth. Like, they've been through shittier times than you. So they really don't have that much respect for you. And a lot of times they didn't ask, they told. They said, look, do this. And you didn't even think about it. You just did it. Okay. I don't want any problems. If you ever had any issues judicial or otherwise, they would be the final word on that. And sometimes you would have to answer to them personally. Sometimes you wouldn't. If you ever needed to discuss anything with them, you could. It was by appointment, and you could go and discuss anything with them, without interacting with your overseers if you needed to do that. If you had a problem with your overseer and you didn't want to talk to your overseer anymore, you could go to the branch committee by appointment, and you could do that. They The Pillowgate video comes from them mainly. So a lot of stuff people think the governing body makes up. No, it's a team. It's a team of bullshitters. They get together, they say, I think we need to talk to the family about this. This is the issue that we're having with them. So we need to make this video. And then the governing body was like, all right, that's cool, go ahead. And so don't think the governing body is making all these decisions. No, the governing body is being influenced by a whole lot of people. And honestly, if the governing body had it their way, they wouldn't deal with anybody. They would just go ahead, read their Bible, make up their own stuff, and keep it moving. But there's a whole lot of other people involved in that who are not anointed and who are not on the governing body. The branch committee has altered the lives of more Bethelites than any other group of people, because it is up to them to look at the numbers, see how many people we can afford, when do we need to make cuts, how are we spending this, what is our budget, how much money are we allowed, all that kind of stuff goes through the branch committee. So when it comes to our lives as Bethelites or former Bethelites, it was altered by the branch committee drastically, and you had a better or worse time at Bethel, life at Bethel, based upon what they decided. The United States Branch Committee was huge. I can't even remember how many members there were. I couldn't rattle off any more than probably maybe 6 or 7 names off the bat. But yeah, I mean, and I think some of them kind of had a dual assignment with being helpers to the governing body as well. So yeah, again, just not fun people to be around. And anytime we had to be around them, it was a very tense situation. They were like the commanders of the military. You just kind of like, oh goodness, here they come. So that's how that went. Again, the other thing was dealing with their wives. Now, under the branch committee, you start to deal with the heavies. And the heavies are anybody that basically wears a suit to work every day. And these are your departments that have heavy responsibility. We call them the heavies or we call them the suits because, again, they wore suits every day. They dealt with, a lot of times they were in service department, legal department, hospital information services, or some type of building, like construction office and things like that. And it varies personality wise with them and your interaction with them as it is. So I'll talk about the heavies next.